Let me back this up a little bit and do that. Hello, everyone. Hello. How y'all doing tonight? This is your one and only Facebook minister, Minister Eric Robinson Jr. Today is Thursday. You know what I like to do. Every time I come on here, come on now. You know we finna do a heart-to-heart talk. And before I go into this heart-to-heart talk, please don't get offended about what I'm going to talk about or what I'm going to ask. Because it does say in the word, ask you shall receive, seek you shall find, and knocking the door shall be answered to you. You have not because you ask not. So I won't know the answer to something if I don't ask. I won't know nothing if I don't ask. I can't have and receive something if I don't ask. I'm doing all this while I'm at work. So please, ladies and gentlemen, don't get offended. If you see on the... Oh, Jesus. If you see on there the topic, please don't get offended. Please don't get upset. Please don't get mad. Then I know what type of person you are, and I know how to deal with you accordingly. Oh boy, I'm knocking stuff over. Give me a sec, y'all. So I got a question. I'm wondering something. And I've been wondering it for a little while. So we can talk, we can debate about it, we can agree to disagree, but give me an understanding on why this goes on. And I just seen this on Facebook. Somebody posted it, and I thought it was very interesting because I've been thinking about some stuff like that for a long time. And I can give you a scripture or two that go along with it, but just keep in mind this one is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. How it's talking about being unequally yoked. My question, I'm just thinking, just debate. You can talk, you agree, whatever. How is marriage too big of a commitment, but having kids isn't? But having kids together isn't. So I've been thinking about that. I've been seeing a lot of it. And I've been asking people questions about this. So why is it a big deal, or why is it a problem when the word marriage comes out, how marriage is too big of a commitment? So another way of saying this, so you're saying relationships is too big of a commitment, but we have no problem making kids with someone, especially if we have no intentions of being with them long term. So I often was curious about this, always wondering to ask questions about it, because I rather do ask than sit up there and let my curiosity run buck wild. So I'm wondering, what gets people to want to burst off commitment but have no problem having a kid with somebody? Please tell me. I don't have no kids. Please tell me and give me an understanding. Those who got kids, I don't mean no disrespect. I don't mean to offend nobody. I'm just wondering this. I be wanting to ask this, but I was like, let me come on here and say something about it. Because give you a scripture that can go along for the ride with it with no problem. So what I'm asking is, why is it so easy with no problem to want to pop out with somebody's child, but being married, being in a committed relationship, being in something long term is too big of a commitment, too big of a responsibility? I'm going to be honest, having kids is more of a big responsibility than being in a big commitment or marriage. I'm being honest, no disrespect to those who are married and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, why are we so much. I'm using the wrong thing to prop my phone, y'all. Please forgive me. Better yet, I'm gonna use this. So I'm wondering, why does it seem that it's okay to have kids out of commitment, have kids out of marriage, but often we always get from other men and women how much they can say this is all they want to, but don't take heed to it. But also at the same time, we're playing with something, we're treating like it's a toy. That's how I'm looking at it. We're playing and using something like it's a toy. Like, we'll play with it sometimes every day. Sometimes we'll play with it here and there. We're not too busy with school, work, or just playing with our friends. So what that thing I'm talking about is we're playing with sex. I'm bold enough to say it and bold enough to talk about it, unlike some people. Because we play with this like it's a toy. But get mad of the consequences for playing with it long term. If we're treating something like it's something to play with, get ready to deal with the consequences that comes with it. So if we're sitting up here playing and taking sex as a joke because we're so worried about I'm going to be real with it because that's how I am, and we're treating it just getting something off, fulfilling our fleshly need, or we're lusting out for and trying lust. We're lusting out for a temporary feeling. And you're like, Minister, what do you mean by lusting out for a temporary thrill? What I mean by lusting out for a temporary thrill is the fact that often people just look. It's like, I am going to go there tonight. It's like we always say we love somebody, we want somebody. But is it because of what you see on the outer appearance, or is what you see in the heart? Is it a fact of you worry about what they can do physically for you? Or is it something you can do? Is it something about them mentally that you really enjoy? And people get mad and get upset because sometimes when you can look so good, you look so handsome, yada, 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 so forth. But yet it's still when you want to lay in bed with that person, but you don't want to commit to that person. You're more lusting out of that person. You're getting it's like to a point of we could desire some things, but all physical things are more of temporary thrills. It means it's only going to make me feel good for this moment, but I want something that's going to last me long term. I want that everlasting. That means you want that mental and spiritual feel that you want to fulfill. We're often fulfilling too much of our physical and the fleshy desire. We're lusting more than loving. We're lusting more than we love it. So, in English terms, why am I putting myself in a situation Why am I putting myself in a situation? Just think about it. Why am I putting myself in a situation to really get my feelings hurt? I'm using me. I insert me. And just an example. Why am I putting myself in a situation that I'm going to hurt myself? Meaning, this person may want us physically, but do they want us spiritually? Do they want us emotionally? So but at times, here's the thing. Often we're wolves in sheep clothing situation of people will want you and portray that they want you not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. But often they want you physically, but they don't want you mentally and spiritually. And they want you emotionally. They want you emotionally. They want you physically because of the fact that you can look good we look good on the outer appearance. Yeah, some of us, we do look good. But get mad because they preyed upon certain particular features and the desires that we want. So we can sit here and listen and say, and often was telling somebody this like the other night, excuse me, we can say this all we want to, but at the same, I told somebody, you're going to forever continue to get to know somebody no matter what phase of life you go with them. Meaning, if you were friends with somebody, you were in a relationship with somebody, you're in a marriage with somebody, you're still going to continue to get to know that person, no matter what. But I told them, it's going to be like that. You're still going to continue to get to know that person no matter what. But do your goals, and you coming in with the right intentions line up? Do they line up with what you want? Because end of the day, we have to set the standards. We have to set the atmosphere. Because if we don't set nothing, we don't stand on our standards, we'll fall for anything. We'll literally fall for anything. But get mad and upset when we're going around acting petty, walking around hurt because of the fact of this man or this woman did me so wrong. You want to go on social media and post talking about, oh, don't get with this person. He'll do. When we present the wrong thing at the wrong time, that's the issue. That's the issue. We present the wrong thing. Rather than having somebody work for something that they want, we just, I'm going to get it free and nilly. But I'm still staying on topic. It's just the fact of how celebrating and being okay with having kids but don't want commitment. If you want kids, you might as well, real talk, go to a sperm bank. But it's like people often look to hurt somebody because they want a temporary thrill. One person looks for something long-term and commitment, while somebody just want a temporary thrill. Some often love with holding the bag. Often, one person got what they want, and the other person is just flat out stuck in their feelings of something that was supposed to happen but never really did happen. So I'm wondering, was sitting up there having unprotected sex, having a child by somebody who just wanted a temporary thrill, and to a point that this person, man or woman, got us in our feelings. That we're snapping on every woman that he tries to talk. We snapping on every man that she tries to talk to because of the fact that she built all that hype up, or he built all that hype up just to come to find out they said all this and did all this just to get a temporary thrill out of you. I know my pastor would have jumped on here, wouldn't approve of me talking about this, but I'm just being honest because that stuff will literally hurt people, and it does. Hurt people. That means when that person hurts us, rather than we know it or not, we don't always attend to healing both physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Because if we're jumping from one relationship or jumping from one relations and jumping into a next, not only did we just connect with that person on a physical level, we connect them on a spiritual level. We can sit up here and talking about, oh, I'm over him, oh, I'm over her. But here's the thing. You're not over them emotionally and spiritually because you made a soul tie with somebody who didn't want the same thing that you want. But now we in our feelings, we're mad, we're upset, we're peeved off because of the fact that this man, this woman just sat up here, did everything else, and possibly got pregnant or gotten pregnant, but now leave us in an emotional state, leave us in a spiritual state of hurt because the person that said all this or put on this show, put on this facade, a wolf in sheep clothing situation, now this man or this woman just went on to somebody else, and we're left in a hurt situation. We're left hurt. We left disappointed. We left angry. We left peed off. We left in a rage. We're getting all these type of emotions on us because of the fact that I'd rather been okay. Some of us rather been okay with. Some of us would be rather okay with being a baby mama, being a baby daddy, than settling and being okay being what we truly desire to someone. Now, because we let the wrong person in us, on us, and place themselves in us, and in a certain situation, now guess what? How should I say this? Righteous, thank you. Now I'm in a situation, I'm emotionally hurt. I can't even get my 100% to somebody else because I just let this man or woman just come in, hurt me, and get what they want physically and left. And left me in an emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional state of hurt. And what comes with that hurt is comes with anger. It comes with envy. It comes with jealousy. It comes with vengeance. Because we got all these emotions running and rampant because of the fact that we allow somebody to come into our atmosphere, come into our life to give us a temporary thrill. That's why 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14 says, be not of equally yoked people. That means we can't be, let me continue on that part. It's talking about a believer being with unbelievers. So let me give you this. If we're a marriage material, we want to be a husband, we want to be a wife. Why are we dealing with temporary thrills? Why are we dealing with somebody who just want us physically but don't want a piece of us but don't want to hold us? That means not just the physical. We have to want somebody to want us emotionally and spiritually, not just physical. You can connect physically any kind of way, but when you can't connect with somebody on a spiritual and an emotional level, why waste time? If you're a man or a woman or guy, and you got all these more unbelievers, people who don't want to have no type of relationship with God, trying to come into our lives, and we're giving them ourselves physically, emotionally, and spiritually, but we want to get into physical, that's being unequally yoked. That is literally being unequally yoked. But then we celebrate being a mother. We celebrate being a father. We think it's now these days the world got it being okay to be a baby mama, being a baby daddy, but not being a husband or wife, not settling down, not being in commitment level. I know the word says that we should wait till such to have marriage. That is true, but even though we can say that all we want to, we can preach it all we want to, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest, God gave us free will, so even though we can give the word, because guess what? Now you got it, now you know, now you're held accountable. So you can't go, when judgment day go, when we have to stand before God, God can't say, well, I know Minister Eric or such and such pastor or whoever told you that it was wrong to have sex before marriage. And there's no way nobody can go in front of God and tell God, no, they didn't. I didn't know that. Oh, let me rewind this day. Let me play this live. Let me show what he's talking about. They even preach. We hear it a lot in church. We do. So we definitely can't go around saying, oh, I didn't know. Well, the fact that we know. And a lot of times we do know, we just don't give care because we're too concerned of fulfilling a fleshly desire. We only want physical desire, not all three phases. Not physically, not emotionally, and not spiritually. Especially you can't go long term with somebody who you can connect with emotionally and cannot connect spiritually. Because if you connect with somebody emotionally and spiritually, you only connect them on that sexual level. Because when you insert, guess what? You connected with somebody on a spiritual level. But then when we talk our way and they talk through all three phases to get to what they want, the main goal most people want is to fulfill their fleshly need. So when that fleshly need is fulfilled, and we're dealing with, and we come to realize that, oh, I just found out this is a wolf, not a sheep. Then we're stuck in a limbo of all type of stuff running in our mind, running amok, because we let the wrong person in our atmosphere. We let the wrong person in ourselves. Because when we set the standards, it's either we stand on those standards or we fall. And because we are planted on a solid foundation, but it's up to us. Because guess what? We may move, bend, but we can't break or we can't be destroyed because we set ourselves on solid foundation. But if we don't set ourselves on solid foundations to prevent us from falling in some of these unnecessary trials, we'll fall for anything anybody says. And that's what happens. We end up bountifully falling for everything somebody says because of the fact of, like I said, I tell people, no matter what phase you're in with someone, a man or a woman, you're still going to continue to get to know them. Do their goals line up with your goals? Do their intentions line up with your intentions? Do they want the same thing you want? Do they want to settle down? Do they want to have a relationship with God? Because kids can come. It's easy to make kids when you're not. It's easy to put the effort in making kids, but do you want to settle down? Do you want to be committed? Do you want the long term? But we okay with having no problem having kids, but commitment, marriage, relationship is a big issue. We turn something so simple, so complex. We make simple things complex. Or it's to the point that we make simple things irrelevant because we're too concerned about fulfilling the fleshly needs. So ask yourself this question. By the time you get all that satisfying fulfilling of everything you want to fulfill in your flesh, is what you're going through at the end of the day worth it? What I mean by worth it, because you know the saying goes in the word, it says, the Lord says, vengeance belongs to me, I will repay them in full. So, part of that as well says, touch not my anointing and do my prophets no harm. So, if you want to continue to do harm to others, you're going to begin to do harm to yourself. But then when we begin to realize that, wait a minute, they doing me. When we begin to really see something in situations like, exactly. So when we get to the point in our life that some of the stuff that's being done to us, don't be surprised by it. Because it may be very similar or maybe very familiar. It'll show be like, wait a minute, this situation that's going on with me is very familiar. Because sometimes the same way we do somebody else going to do the exact same thing that we did to somebody else. And we'll sit around and be talking about, well, I didn't do nothing wrong. I was doing everything right. But have you ever thought about how you might have treated the previous person? It don't have to be a relationship. It don't have to be a marriage. It could be a friendship. It could just be somebody on the street. The way we treat somebody, it may come back on us in some type of shape or form, good or bad, depending on what we do. But just know, because a lot of times I see so many posts coming up there. I'll be reading when I be posting my wisdom food for the soul messages. I do be looking at it, I'll be like, why do I often always see that some man or some woman posted something because somebody Exactly. And I did a message on that on red flags. So I'm like, why do I, most of the time I see how so many men and so many women post on there about how another woman did them wrong, another man did them wrong, how they homegirls or they homeboys did them so wrong. But sometimes we may, and they post it right on social media. I'm like, what they doing posting it right on social media for? I think sometimes some people's business is meant for them and not for social media to be knowing what the heck going on in their personal life. And that's the thing. And then people be mad and upset, like they act like a bunch of angels, or act like somebody who never done nothing wrong. But I'm gonna be real with you, they probably have done somebody wrong. It never shows, or they portray it enough to make it seem like it's always. And this is one of the red flags. How they Terrence, you just said something about it. Here's one of the red flags. How somebody constantly always talking negative about their last date or their last relationship or their last marriage. They're thinking everything is so negative. That means they might have done something wrong for some of that negativity to go on. So people never think or consider what is always looking at somebody else who done all the wrong. How we often sometimes look in the mirror and see what we could have said or where we could have done wrong. We always look at somebody else but never want to take the time to look ourselves in the mirror first. So let me wrap this up. So before we begin to really, and I always tell people this, you just gotta have a previous relationship or marriage. Have you ever done anything, instead of just jumping from one relationship and jumping to another, have we ever took the time to actually just sit to ourselves, be to ourselves, focus to ourselves, and heal from what we've been through in our lives, or we just worrying about hoping to not to miss out on the next person that comes in our life? Let me get up. This is your one and only Facebook Minister Eric Robinson. Gene stepped on here. I hope y'all get something out of it. Y'all have a God's blessed morning, afternoon, evening, and night. God bless y'all. Love y'all. Peace.